Have you ever paused in the silence of the night and wondered what a woman really seeks when she opens herself to another? It's not about the touch nor the words exchange. It's not just about bodies meeting or physical attraction pulling her in. No, what she offers, even without realizing it, is her soul. Her raw, unfiltered soul that craves to be seen, not just glanced at, not just touched, but seen in a way that makes her feel whole in a world that has spent years trying to convince her she is not. Every time she lets someone in, she offers more than her body. She offers a piece of her spirit, a piece that has been starved for recognition, for acceptance, for the chance to exist beyond what others have defined her to be. What she seeks is not lust. Lust is the mask. The real desire, the deep aching need, is to be recognized, to be held in a way that understands the fractures in her soul. And no one ever told you this. Not Freud, not Jung. They never looked deep enough. They saw desire as a body's need. But the real truth is, a woman's desire is to be seen in all her beauty and her pain. And when she isn't, that desire becomes a hunger that consumes her, but no one can fill. Freud believed that desire was rooted in instinct, that sex was an exchange of physical pleasure, a means of satisfaction. He didn't see the deeper well beneath the surface. And Jung, while he understood the unconscious, still didn't grasp the full complexity of what it means for a woman to truly surrender. They both failed to see that intimacy for a woman is not a physical exchange, it's a spiritual one. It's about letting go of the layers she's built over years, over lifetimes, to protect herself from the world that has taught her that her true self is unworthy of love. And when a woman opens herself to intimacy, she doesn't just give her body. She gives the parts of her that are wounded, the parts of her that have been buried for fear of rejection, for fear of not being enough. And when she surrenders in that way, when she offers herself in that truth, it is not just a transaction. It's a moment of vulnerability that demands the deepest level of respect, of understanding, of presence. But so often, men fail to see her. They look at the surface, at the body, at the performance, thinking that desire is something to be won, something to be taken. But the truth is that when a woman is not seen, when she is not recognized for the depth of her soul, her desire becomes a hollow echo. It becomes a longing that cannot be filled no matter how much she gives. It's a shadow, chasing after what can never truly satisfy her. And in that hollow space, the cycle begins. When she gives her body, but no one sees her, she begins to feel the weight of emptiness inside. It's the type of emptiness that doesn't show up in the body, it shows up in the soul. The fatigue that lingers long after the encounter, the quiet despair, the crushing realization that what she gave was not seen. And yet she continues to give, to chase what feels so impossible to catch. This is what Freud and Jung missed. This is the truth they left out. A woman's desire is not about pleasure. It's about recognition, to be seen. And when that recognition is absent, desire becomes a hunger that devours everything in its path. No matter how much she surrenders, no matter how much she opens herself, if the recognition is not there, she remains empty. This is why so many women feel drained after intimacy, why they withdraw emotionally after a connection that should have been fulfilling. The body may have felt good, but the soul, that part of her that is truly vulnerable, was not touched. She left with a sense of loss, with a piece of her spirit left behind, chasing after something that was never given back. Imagine this, she lies in your arms and everything about the moment feels right, yet there's something missing. It's not the touch, it's not the chemistry, it's something far deeper, something you can't quite name. She wants to feel seen, truly seen, but all you see is the surface, her body, her beauty, her performance. What you don't see is her soul, the deep, quiet longing she's been carrying with her, the fear of being unworthy, the constant pressure to be perfect, to be enough. In the moment of intimacy, when she surrenders herself, she is not just handing over her body. She is revealing her wounds, her past, her unmet needs, her unspoken fears. But if you're not paying attention, if you're only there in the physical sense, you miss it all. And in that absence, a small part of her dies. That part, the one that's yearned to be seen for who she truly is, fades into the shadows again, further buried beneath the mask she's been wearing for years. Jung once said that the unconscious is like the hidden river flowing beneath the surface. What Freud never realized What Jung didn't fully understand is that women's desire is also a river, hidden, flowing beneath the surface of their actions, their words, their performances. What if I told you that every touch is not just a physical encounter, but an exchange of energies? That each time a woman opens herself to intimacy, she is not just giving her body, she is offering the essence of her soul. Every kiss, every glance, every gesture is a call for validation, for someone to see her beyond the flesh, beyond the role she plays, beyond the mask she wears to the world. But too often men fail to recognize this subtle energy and they mistake it for lust, for performance, for pleasure. This is where the real damage happens. When a woman gives herself without being seen, her desire begins to warp into something destructive. It becomes a hunger, a longing that can never be truly fulfilled. It's a yearning for something far beyond what she's giving, something her soul needs, but is too afraid to ask for. In that hollow space where her true desire is ignored, she becomes a mirror, reflecting back to you the version of her that she thinks you want, but she's not showing you her true self. She's showing you the mask she's been forced to wear to survive. And this is why intimacy can feel so empty, because when you don't see her, when you only take what she gives without recognizing the soul beneath it, it leaves both of you feeling drained. You may think she's satisfied, but deep down, there's a part of her that's quietly shutting down, withdrawing, retreating to the shadow where no one can reach her. The energy exchange is real. If it's unconscious, it's toxic. If it's unaware, it becomes destructive. She gives parts of herself and you take them, not realizing that you're not just sharing the physical act of sex, you're sharing something much deeper. The pieces of her spirit that are left unrecognized begin to linger in your life, and they start to take energy from you too. You may feel exhausted after sex, not because of the physical exertion, but because something inside of you is being drained. This exchange of energy doesn't just affect the body, it affects the soul. And if it's an unbalanced exchange, if you don't meet her with awareness, it's as if you've opened a portal to a space where both of you are lost, where both of you are unseen. And this is the truth that Freud and Jung never saw. They didn't understand that desire is not just a physical need, it is an emotional and spiritual one. When a woman feels unacknowledged in the most intimate space, it begins to break her down. She may keep giving, she may keep performing, but inside she is starting to collapse. It's not just about the physical connection, it's about the soul connection that is either formed or shattered in those moments. What's left behind is a deep void, an emotional drain that both of you feel, but don't understand. You may think it's just exhaustion, just physical fatigue, but it's something much deeper. It's the pain of unspoken desire, the yearning for authentic connection, and the tragic reality that it was never truly given. You see, the truth is that women's desire is not just a call for physical touch. It's a soulful invitation, an invitation to witness her beyond the surface, to understand the depth she hides. But to answer that call, you must first see yourself, not as the man who is just performing, trying to impress, trying to satisfy, but as a man who is deeply aware of his own vulnerabilities, aware of his own soul. True connection doesn't come from trying to be something you're not. It doesn't come from mimicking the perfect lover or performing acts of desire in the hopes of gaining affection. It comes from the courage to show who you really are, beneath the armor, beneath the ego. When you stand in your raw presence, when you face your own shadow and embrace it, only then can you truly begin to see her, and only then can you truly connect with her on a soul level. When you see her soul, when you meet her in her vulnerability, you are no longer engaging in a transaction, you are engaging in a transformation. You are no longer performing, you are no longer playing the role of the man who tries to impress her. You are the man who simply exists in the present, who listens without words, who sees her beyond the body and into the deep parts of her being that she's kept hidden from the world. This is the place where real intimacy begins. And when you meet her in this space, not only will you awaken her desire, you will awaken your own. Because real desire, the kind that connects at the deepest level, is not a performance. It's a shared experience, a meeting of souls. It's the recognition of her truth and the recognition of your own truth. It's when you both stand naked in your vulnerabilities and say, I see you and I choose you, not for your body, but for your soul. And this is the missing piece. This is what Freud and Jung could never teach us, because they were looking in the wrong place. They focused on the physical, the psychological, but they didn't focus on the soul. And that's where desire is born, in the soul. Desire is not about what's on the outside, it's about what's on the inside. And when you start to recognize her soul, when you start to understand the invisible parts of her that she never shows, you will feel the energy of true connection. But here's the thing, it's not just about recognizing her, it's about recognizing yourself first. Until you can face your own shadows, your own wounds, you will never fully see her. You will always be projecting your own unhealed pain, your own unmet needs onto her, and she will never be able to show up fully in the way she truly longs to. To truly connect with her, you must first reconnect with yourself. This is the place where healing begins, not just for her, but for you. When you stop trying to impress her, stop seeking her validation, and start seeking your own truth, that's when real desire blooms. That's when true intimacy begins. And when two souls meet in this space, free from the masks, free from the games, free from the performance, that's when you create something sacred, something unbreakable. Freud and Jung missed this because they were looking for desire in the wrong places. They never understood that real desire isn't just a physical need or an unconscious drive. It's a spiritual longing for recognition, for connection, for union of the souls. When you start to meet a woman in this space, when you both shed the performances and step into your authentic selves, that's when you create something timeless. That's when you finally understand the true nature of desire. So ask yourself, are you ready to see her, not just as a body, not just as a partner, but as a soul? Are you ready to let go of the performance, to stop trying to impress and start truly connecting? And most importantly, are you ready to see yourself, your own unhealed wounds, your own unspoken desires? Because only when you do that will you find the truth that was hidden from you all along. This is where desire goes from being just a need, just a want, to becoming something sacred. And it all starts when you choose to see her and yourself in the most intimate way possible, not through the lens of performance, not through the lens of the body, but through the lens of the soul. When that happens, everything changes. And that is the path to true connection, to true desire. But let's face the truth, it's not always easy to shed the masks. It's not easy to let go of the need for approval, the constant pressure to perform, to prove that you're enough. So many men, in their pursuit of intimacy, are not seeking connection, they are seeking validation. They are desperate to prove they're worthy of love, worthy of affection, and worthy of her attention. And when that need for approval is stronger than the desire to connect, the cycle begins. The cycle of sacrifice, of bending, of erasing parts of yourself to please her, to make her feel seen while you remain unseen. When you keep giving to someone who doesn't truly see you, it's as though you're emptying yourself, only to receive crumbs of validation in return. This is the shadow, the part of you that is unseen, the part of you that longs for love, but hasn't yet learned to love yourself. And it's in this shadow, in this unhealed wound, that most men get trapped. They give and give, expecting something in return, but they are only left feeling more empty because their true self has never been recognized. Jung said that the shadow is the part of the self that is rejected or unacknowledged, and when we fail to face it, it begins to control us, to lead our decisions and our relationships. And this is why so many men find themselves stuck in cycles of unfulfilling relationships, where they give more than they receive, where they keep trying to prove their worth to someone who cannot give them the soulful connection they need. The shadow isn't just a part of you, it is the part of you that haunts your relationships. It is the unspoken fear, the invisible thirst for acceptance, the wounds that have never healed from childhood. And until you face it, until you acknowledge it, you will continue to project it onto her, onto everyone you meet. The fear of rejection, the longing to be loved, the empty ache for validation that never seems to go away. It all lives in the shadow. But this is where the real healing happens. The moment you decide to look inward, to face those fears, to stop running from the pain, that is when you begin to free yourself. When you stop seeking external validation and start seeking self-acceptance, you will find a peace that you never thought possible. And in that peace, you will find true desire. Not the kind that comes from need, but the kind that comes from abundance, from a place where your soul no longer needs to beg for love, when you face your shadow, when you let go of the performance, that's when you are no longer playing a part. That's when you can truly meet her. That's when you stop projecting your need for approval onto her and start recognizing the sacred desire that connects you both, the desire that is pure, mutual, and whole. It is in that moment that you will begin to see her not as a reflection of your need, but as a soul that you can connect with, love, and be loved by. This is the place of true intimacy, the place where desire is not born from lack, but from wholeness, where love is not about what you can get, but about what you can give, without expectation, without fear. When both of you are free from the prison of your own shadows, you are free to truly see each other. And in that seeing, you both awaken not just to each other, but to your true selves. This is the power of true connection. This is the gift of self-awareness and emotional honesty. It's the freedom to love without needing to be validated, to connect without needing to prove. It's the ability to look at your partner, to look at yourself, and to finally say, I see you. And in seeing you, I also see myself. When that happens, the transformation begins. No longer are you just performing for her approval. No longer are you hiding behind the mask of perfection. You are standing naked, not physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And in that moment, desire becomes healing. It becomes a ritual that binds you together, not just in body, but in soul. And that's where the magic happens. Because when you stop chasing approval and start choosing yourself, you begin to invite true love into your life. You stop needing to be loved and you start loving from a place of abundance. And that is the secret to real intimacy. It's not about perfect performance. It's not about satisfying needs. It's about soulful connection, presence, and a willingness to be vulnerable. But here's the truth. This is not an easy path. It requires courage. It requires vulnerability. It requires you to face parts of yourself you've long avoided, parts that may still feel like unhealed wounds. But that's where the real transformation begins. It's when you stop running from yourself and you start meeting her as equals, not just in body, but in soul. So I ask you again, are you ready to see her for who she truly is? And in seeing her, are you ready to see yourself? Because true intimacy begins when you recognize yourself first. Only then can you see her. Only then can you meet her in the place where true desire lives. So here we are at the final crossroads. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about desire, about love, was only half of the story? What if the answer wasn't in the chase or in the pursuit of something outside of yourself, but in the stillness within? What if true desire doesn't need to be sought, but only recognized? What if I told you that the love you've been searching for, the connection you've longed for, has always been within you? That true intimacy doesn't come from performing for someone else's approval, but from recognizing your own worth first. This is the essence of sacred desire, not something external, but something that awakens within you. It's the ability to love without fear, to connect without need, and to be seen as you truly are with all your flaws and all your beauty. When you stand fully in your truth, when you stop chasing and start being, that is when true intimacy is born. No longer do you need to prove yourself. No longer do you need to perform or wear the mask. When both partners are aware of their own soul, when both are standing in their full power, that is when the magic happens. Desire, at its core, is not a lack. It is an expression of the abundance that exists within both of you. It is the recognition of each other's truth. And when you meet her in that space of recognition, the energy shifts. No longer is it about trying to impress or prove. It is about mutual acknowledgement of each other's humanity, each other's soul, and each other's sacredness. This is the missing piece, the sacred ritual of connection that Freud and Jung never understood. They saw desire as something that could be analyzed, something that could be reduced to instincts or unconscious forces. But the truth is this, desire is sacred. It is not just about the body. It is not just about the mind. It is about the soul and the sacred exchange between two souls who see each other in all their complexity and beauty in this moment. When you recognize her and yourself fully, when you no longer hide behind the layers of performance and expectation, desire becomes sacred. It becomes a shared energy that connects and heals, that transcends the physical and moves into the spiritual. It is not about seeking, but about being present, being authentic, being seen. The truth is, sacred desire is born from a place of wholeness. It is when you love yourself fully, when you embrace your own shadow and light, that you can truly love another. You can recognize her as a soul who, just like you, carries the weight of her past, her pain, and her unspoken desires. But she is not asking you to fix her. She is asking you to see her, to love her whole, just as she is, just as you are. This is the moment when desire stops being about seeking external validation or the physical act. It becomes an expression of love, of respect, of recognition. It becomes a sacred union between two people who choose each other, not because they need each other, but because they see each other in all their light and darkness. So I ask you this, are you ready to recognize her, to see her not as a reflection of your unhealed wounds or your unmet needs, but as the soul that she is? Are you ready to stop seeking outside of yourself and instead start choosing yourself first? Are you ready to love without fear, to see the sacred divinity within her and within you? Because only when you recognize her as a soul, not just a body, will you truly understand the depth of desire. And when that happens, true intimacy begins, not because you are trying to satisfy each other's needs, but because you are already whole. You no longer need to perform for her. You no longer need to prove that you are enough. You simply are enough, and so is she. And in that mutual recognition, you both awaken to a love that is pure, that is unshakable, and that transcends all superficial layers of desire. This is what sacred desire is. It is not about lust. It is not about performance. It is about recognizing each other, about seeing beyond the surface, and about choosing to love each other's soul completely, fully, and without condition. It is a love that heals, a love that transforms, and a love that awakens you both to the fullness of your shared humanity. So let go of the masks, let go of the need to prove, to perform, to impress, choose yourself. And in doing so, you will choose her. And when you do that, everything changes. Because the truth is, real desire is not about seeking something outside of you. It is about awakening something within you, something sacred, something whole. The journey to true intimacy begins when you recognize that it starts with you. When you stop chasing approval and start choosing yourself, you open the door to something that can never be taken away, a connection that is rooted in truth, in respect, and in unconditional love. So the choice is yours. Will you continue to seek outside of yourself, or will you choose to step into the sacred space of true connection where your soul meets hers and you both become whole?